Okay, on to the final example of looking at maps and scale drawings, this time with a slightly different key example. And we've got some questions here, and let's begin. So we've got a map of Iceland here, and this time the scale is a bit different. It is saying that this length here on the map is equivalent to 100 kilometers in actual and real life. So the first thing to do is to get out our ruler, and is to measure, and let's just make this a little bit shorter because it's way too long, and it is to measure the distance of this line here, because this length here, which is going from 0 up to, or I'm just going to say, just to make it, I'm going to be a bit cheeky here, right, let's just go and put this, right, 0, there we go, right, we're saying from 0 up to 6, this line here has a length with our ruler of 6 centimeters, and that is equivalent to 100 kilometers in real life. Okay, so 6 centimeters is the same thing as 100 kilometers in real life. So straight away, right, let's go and write out our ratio up here. So we're saying we've got 6 centimeters is the same thing as 100 kilometers in real life. And actually, because on the next page, right, let's go and write it again. So 6 cm is the same thing as 100 kilometers. Okay, because we measured this line here to be 6 centimeters. Okay, now we can use this to find out the following. We're saying how far is it from, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this place to this place down here. So we can see already on the map, which is really useful. I've got them highlighted. So the ones in red is what we are looking at over here. So let's go and get a straight line out, and let's do it in thick so we can see what's going on from basically from the most westerly point, okay, to the most easterly point. That's what I've done here. Okay, so from here, let's go and do that a little bit better again. So from here down to here, and what am I doing? Right, because we're looking at this point here. So the point goes from here down to, right, on my pen pad, I can't get it exactly because it glitches out. So I'm gonna have to go to there, unfortunately, because it glitches out. But that's fine. That will do. And let's go measure this distance here with my ruler, which is here. Okay, and let's make it a little bit shorter, otherwise it won't fit on the screen. And let's go from here to here. So there we go. We're going from 0 up to 16. Perfect. That's nice and easy. It's a nicely turned out. So that length is 16 centimeters. Now, one thing that I should have really done is this. Well, first of all, this is our map distance to the real life distance. Now, what's really useful with ratios is to get the first number to become a 1. It's called the unitary method. I'll make a note of it. I've said it a few times now, but it's called the unit meaning 1, unitary method. And it just makes things a lot easier to upscale. So we can now go and say that 1 centimeter is going to be the same thing as, well, to get from 6 to 1, what are you dividing by? You're dividing by 6. 6 divided by 6 gives you 1. I can go and do 100 and divide that also by 6. Now, 100 divided by 6 unfortunately gives you a bit of an awkward decimal, but that's going to have to kind of do. Right, it's equal to 16. 100 divided by 6 is equal to 16. I'm going to round it. It's 16.666. I'm going to round it to 16.7, like that. I rounded it. I've been a bit cheeky there. Okay, but just to make it a little bit easier. Otherwise, you've got to be writing a load of 6s, which isn't particularly useful either. So that's going to have to do. But this is now going to be useful to use in the questions. Because, right, my ratio is 1 centimeter on the map. It's the same thing as 16.7 kilometers in actual and real life. And I've just said that this distance from west to east, these two places, is 16 centimeters, okay, which is here. Now, to get from 1 to 16 is easy. I can simply times that by 16, because 1 times 16 gives me 16. I can do the same thing over here, times that number by 16, okay, as opposed to going from 6 to it just makes it easier, okay, otherwise you get awkward numbers. 16.7 times by 16 is equal to 267, so 267.2 kilometers, okay, and that's your answer. So 16 centimeters on the map is equivalent to 267.2 kilometers in real life. So that's your first answer to part A. Let's do it in yellow. There we go. Perfect. Part B, we've got this. How far is it from Vic to this place up here, which is the most southerly place to the most northerly place? Okay, so let's go and draw that line in in a different colour. Let's move our ruler out of the way. Let's go and put it over here for the time being. Just get it out of the way. And let's do this in blue, I think. And let's go and do a straight line. So from this place here down to Vic. Again, I can't get it exactly. It kind of glitches out, but that's going to have to do. And that's fine. It's pretty accurate. Let's get the ruler out and let's give it a spin. There we go. And let's try and match it up as best as we can. Let's make it a little bit shorter. There we go. Okay, good. So we're getting there. Let's spin this round. That's going to be pretty good, I think. So 0, 2. There. Whoa. Oh, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? So 0 down to, if that's 10, 10.2. I'll say that's 10.2. So we can go and say that that length there is 10.2 centimeters. And again, we can use our ratio. You could use this one, but again, use the unitary one. It's so much easier to use, which is 1 centimeter is equivalent to, so 1 centimeter is the same thing as 16.7 kilometers in real life. And we've just measured that to be 10.2 centimeters on the map. Okay, and now to get from 1 up to 10.2, we're timesing by 10.2. Do the same thing over here. We're timesing by 10.2. Really, I should be writing on the top that this is the map, so what you're measuring on the ruler to the real life is up here. And the same thing with here. You've got the map, what you measure with the ruler, to the real life distance. Okay. Now 16.7 times by 10.2. Let's see what that gives you. 16.7 times 10.2 gives you 170.34. So 170.34 kilometers. Okay, and that is your answer. So from Vic to Siglufjord, or however you say it, is 170.34 kilometers. Okay, so that's the first 2 parts done. Part C is saying this. Let's move this out of the way. It is saying, use your answers to part A and B to approximate the area of Iceland. Will your answer be an overestimate or an underestimate? This is a really cool question. Okay, so really what it's saying is, right, to approximate the, let's highlight the keywords here. My highlighter is here. So to approximate, so to estimate the area of Iceland. So really what I'm saying here is, and let's go and give myself some more room. I have to zoom out a little bit, not too much, but let's just zoom out a little bit so we can see a bit more what's going on. And let's kind of drag this page up to here. Hopefully you can still see all of that. You can do, which is good. Now what I'm saying is, right, the red part, this part here, is going to be the width of my rectangle. Okay, so let's go and sort of draw that over here somewhere. So I've got, that's not very good. I want this, and I want it to be a thick line. So we've got the width of it, okay, and of course the rectangle has got this part. So we're estimating the area. So I'm sort of saying, well, that this part, okay, is going to be this part of the rectangle down here, and then this part is going to be the top part. It's how wide the rectangle is. And we know that that length is equal to 16 centimeters. So that's going to be 16 centimeters. And we also know that the height of the Iceland is from here to here, which we know is, sorry, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Right, I want it to be in the right units, which is going to be kilometers, isn't it? So that was a mistake. So we know that 16 centimeters was 267.2 kilometers. So that's what should be going down here. So 267.2 kilometers. And I know that the height of this, okay, is 10.2 centimeters, which of course in kilometers is equal to 10.2 centimeters is 170.3 kilometers. So that's nice, and that can go over here. So 170.34 kilometers. Good. So really what's happened, I've done here is, right, this bottom part is like the width of Iceland. I've done the same thing at the top. So I've kind of put Iceland, right, just to show you a bit more clearly, right, I've put it into a rectangle. So this to this, to this, to this. Okay, this is my rectangle. This, okay, is what I've got down here, basically. Now, to get the area of a rectangle, you can just go and multiply your width by the height. So let's go and do that. Let's go and do it in green. And I can say, well, the area is going to be equal to 267.2, and timesing that by 170.34, and that's going to be equal to, whatever that's equal to, so 267.2 times 170.34, and that gives me a pretty big answer of 45,514.848. In fact, I was going to round it to 0.15 just to make it a little bit nicer. Okay, and it's going to be in kilometers squared. Area is going to be your unit, and then you're squaring it. So that is an estimate of the area of Iceland. Okay, again, I basically put Iceland into a rectangle. So I put it into this. So the area of this here effectively is equal to 45,515. That's what I've done, which is good. And it's saying, is it an overestimate or an underestimate? Well, if I go and put the rectangle back in again, like this, well, you can see you've got a lot of C there, haven't you? You've got loads of C that you don't really want to include. So you kind of overestimated it because you've got this part here that you don't really want. You've got this part here that you don't really want. This part you don't really want, so on and so forth. Okay, so it's going to be an overestimate. Let's just go and type that in to finish up with. It's going to be an overestimate. Okay, and there we go. That is the last part of maps and scales, and hopefully that was quite a nice one to finish up with. Okay, thank you for watching.